you guys are awesome. Hey, guys. Yo, you can't tell me that my squad does not show up and show out. Yo, Manifest University people, my circle, my squad, of course you guys will be here at 7 o'clock on the dot. I love y'all. I love you guys so much. I am just waiting for my client to show up and pop her head in. Hey. I know we roll deep, don't we? I love it. I appreciate you guys so much. We roll deep. Of course, my squad will be here 7 o'clock on the dot. I am just waiting for my client to show up. Waiting on her. While we're waiting on her, hopefully she knows that all she has to do is request. But while we're waiting on her, I just want, oh my goodness, I love you guys. Like, I don't even know why I'm surprised that y'all showed up at 7 o'clock on the dot, but I am. I love you guys. So where is... So, where is she? So, just waiting on you to accept the invite. There she is. Hi.
There we go. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, there we go.
How are you? You look gorgeous. I love your hair.
Thank you.
How are you?
Beautiful. I'm good. I'm a little
I can see you're nervous, aren't you?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. I'm gonna make sure that you're straight. You know I got you. This is all safe.
I feel it's just me and you talking, so
It's me and you talking.
yeah.
You are so protected right now. Okay? But you look gorgeous. Oh, I love your hair.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. I hope that you're excited. Because while I was setting up this session, I was getting so much info for you that I was like, there was a reason why you were divinely picked. You were divinely picked. I had 3 other people that I asked about this session, and they were so excited. And they were like, yeah, of course, I'll do it. But you know how like that divine alignment works, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the last minute, when we were in the MU chat group, you had said, so I don't remember what you said, but you said something, and then I felt guided to you. And I was like, but I already have somebody, so give me a sign. I promise you, within like 5 minutes, that person hit me up and was like, I totally forgot that my son has something planned for that day right at 7 o'clock, and I can't do it. And I was like, it's okay.
It's all right.
Yeah. And that's when I reached out to you, and then everything just divinely lined up. So I am very confident that you were handpicked and chosen for this session. So I'm super excited.
There we go.
Super, super excited. So I am just going to give just a few more minutes in case anybody is still trying to straggle and come through. So the whole purpose, like we discussed, the whole purpose of this live session is because I get questions all the time on what exactly I do. So the title that I have is a spiritual life coach, right? And so there are tons of people who have different spiritual gifts and they channel different ways and spiritual strengths. And so when you say spiritual life coach, I looked it up on Google and there was like this huge range of that definition. And so I can understand why people may be confused or not really sure. So what happens is that I channel through spirit, answering questions and things that you might have, but then the session doesn't end there. We actually figure out how these certain things are connected to sometimes childhood wounds, certain triggers, certain things, and we identify those, and then we give you tools and things so that you can actually heal these issues after the session is over. Mm-hmm. That's the whole goal of this. This is not like a one-trick pony show. This is literally so that you walk away from the session feeling confident that you have some type of direction some type of guidance and that you are confident that you have tools that you can use on your own to help yourself heal and help yourself grow and move forward in your journey. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Perfect. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and jump in because I feel guided too. How do you
This is good. We can dive
feel?
in.
Okay, so I have the fan on because I have to live with the fan on and sleep with the fan on, even in winter months. I know there's most women that are like that, but I'm definitely like that. So if for some reason you can't hear me or I sound like a little robotish, let me know. I will turn my fan down, okay?
Do.
Okay, so how we're also going to do this is that I have some cards already pulled. I do that as guided. Sometimes I'm not guided to pull cards soon, and sometimes I am. So we're just going to go ahead and start with your questions because your questions are always going to line up with my cards. Sometimes if we start with my cards, it kind of goes all over the place. The cards, I always ask before any session that anything that comes through are things that you need to know right now at this moment. So anything that comes through is what you need to know right at this moment. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with your first question.
Was there a curse put on me as a child?
Was there a curse put on you as a child?
Mm.
Whoa.
Sounds so crazy, but I've had two strangers tell me something like
You had
that.
a stranger tell you that?
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, I'm not picking up that at all. No, ma'am.
Thank you.
So you said a stranger just came up and told you that?
Yeah, I was canvassing. I was doing some ministry.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this fan down because I can't hear anything you're saying. See, that's how you know that I love you because I'm gonna risk burning up to death.
I
Just
appreciate you.
no,
Dying having hot flashes because of me.
it's okay. It is totally okay. Like I'll live, I'll survive. But I turned my fan on for you. That's how much I love you. So you said that some stranger just came up to you and said that you had a curse put on you?
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm not picking up that at all. Did they try to offer you anything after that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, ma'am. Don't. No, ma'am.
Good. That makes sense.
Okay, and here's the other thing. Be careful with your energy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
People who are spiritually connected or spiritually gifted, a lot of the time, even if they don't know that they are, other people can't, okay? So it's just important that you are careful and cautious with your energy, okay? But no, ma'am, I don't pick up any type of curse put on you at all. No, ma'am.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Was my dad a racist?
Was your dad Oh, you got good questions. Right off the bat, huh? Was your dad racist? Okay. I'm not necessarily picking up that your dad was racist, so to speak. It just feels like he was a little extra because of the people around him. Because the people around him kind of did the most when it came to that, and he did the most when it came to that. But when it came to one-on-one interaction, he didn't necessarily feel that way. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you want to elaborate on that? Because Spirit is like going insane when it comes to that. You have more questions when it comes to your dad. They make me feel like you have a lot of stuff tied to your dad. Does that make sense to
There's
you?
a lot of stuff tied to that man.
Girl, that's okay though. But they're just making me feel like there's a lot there when it comes to your dad. Is he no longer living?
No.
He's not?
Almost 3 years now, yeah.
Okay, because I'm glad I asked because I'm like, I feel like his energy's not present. So I'm glad I asked before that and before I just said like, yeah, so. And may I ask, was your dad white or black?
White.
Makes sense. Because listen, I honestly, I feel like you've heard both sides, that he was racist and that he wasn't. It just feels like your dad did what he needed to do to fit in because he was surrounded by racist people. So when he was with his, with those people, he would like go hard. But when he was one-on-one or in a certain space, it was like, I don't have a problem with them necessarily. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, it just doesn't feel like he had strong feelings like certain people want you to believe. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
What other questions do you have with your dad? Because girl, Spirit is like really like, stay here because she has a lot.
Oh, that was another question. Why did it take of my father to understand, appreciate, and love my blackness?
Okay, say that again.
Why did it take the death of my father to understand, appreciate, and love my blackness?
Okay, so I don't pick up that you and your dad had the best relationship. Does that make sense to you? And it feels like you wanted to have a good relationship with him. And there are certain things, not just about you, but there were just certain things that you felt you couldn't be completely open and honest with because you felt like that was the best way to have like a connection with him if you weren't so this way or that way. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So when he passed, it literally felt like unanswered questions and opportunity left when he passed. Does that make sense? With him passing and you feeling like those opportunities passed, once he passed, it not only made you feel like you had permission to be who you've always felt when you looked in the mirror, which is a black woman, is what you feel like when you're around in the world and when you look in the mirror. It's not that you ignore your white side, but you feel like a black woman. You identify with black people. And so him passing, it felt like I can finally be who I am, number one. Number two, there was also a sense of now I can stand in my power now that he's not hanging over my head, or I don't have to downplay it because he's here. Does that make sense to you as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In addition to that, it also feels like Spirit makes me feel like it was also like your way of trying to almost like get back at him, because now like everything that I felt that you didn't accept in me, the world accepts it, and I don't need your approval anymore. I don't even care. Like, this is me. I'm who I am. I can be who I am. And if you see it where you're at, I don't even care. This is who I am. Does that make sense to you? Perfect.
I heard that.
I'm also picking up that opened up the door, not just for you to step into your blackness, but it also opened up the door for you to want to discover more about what makes you you. Because your blackness was not the only thing that you tried to like downplay. There were like gifts and talents and just who you are deep down. You literally felt this. Once that was out the bag, it was like, what else is in there?
Yeah.
Like, let's learn. Like, what else is in there? And then once you started picking up certain things, you literally, for the first time in your life, started to get excited with who you might be. If this comes full circle, like, this is me, like, this is who I am, like, this is kind of awesome. And it sent you on this whole soul searching journey. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Perfect. Which everything in divine alignment, because that journey, even though you're in that journey now as we speak, it literally, life started making sense. Things in your childhood that didn't make sense, as you started searching and crossing paths with people, things started lining up. Things started making sense. And for the first time in your life, you started to feel like maybe I belong in the circle. Maybe this is like, there are other people. Like, maybe there are other people that are just like me, and I'm not such this odd person that has nowhere that I belong. And that feeling of belonging, they make me feel like you've been searching for that your whole entire life. Just even a small piece of that puzzle, you know, like when you're doing a puzzle and once you finally put that piece down and push it in, how it just fits and it's not forced, it's just, you've been searching for that your whole life. You've always known I belong somewhere, but I'm not really sure where. And then when you find somebody that you can relate to, you relate, but then it's like, kind of not as much as, you know, like not as much as I want. But once you started this journey, you literally started finding people that you were like, OMG, I literally, these are my soul people. This is where I belong. And that literally just made it's okay. It's okay. It literally made you feel like you wanted to dive even deeper because there's still a feeling like you've only scratched the surface. Like there's a whole, not just a tribe, but like there's a whole nation of people that this is who I am. So there's fear there, but there's also excitement. Like I gotta do this because I know that this is calling me because this is where I belong. I fit in here. Make sense? Perfect. Perfect. What other questions did you have when it comes to your spirituality? Because, because they're making me feel like when it comes to your spirituality that you have questions in regards to that as well. Oh, I think we lost her. That's okay. We're going to hang out. We're going to, I think we lost her. But we're going to hold on and see if we can go ahead and get her back. Did anybody have questions about how I channel or how I get information since we're waiting for her to time back in? I see you, Carmen. I love you too. And I love you. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Oh, you're awesome. Come on, let me see if I can get her back. Hey! Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Okay, I'm just waiting for her to... You're back! We missed you.
Here we go. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So did you have any other questions in regards to your spiritual journey? Because I pick up that that's a big thing in your life right now too.
I want to know if I'm on the right path, like in terms of like what you mentioned about my dad. Like there's a lot more stuff in that bag, and a lot of that has to do with neglect, childhood trauma, rape, like misplacement, feeling like I don't have any belonging. What I'm building now, I want to know if that's in alignment with all the things that I've been through.
They make me feel like you've been like setting up a journey or something to tell your story. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. Because I'm like, what are you showing me? Because sometimes when spirit shows me things, they show me things in clips or symbols, and I have to like decode the symbols. It feels, so here's the thing. It feels like you wanting to tell your story was more to help people. Does that make sense? But they make me feel like that's not the reason why they put it on you to tell this story in this capacity. It's more for your healing because you've always been made to feel like you can't talk about things or you're being too dramatic or just to feel like, well, everybody goes through that and it's fine. Or just flat out telling family members or people that you love certain things and they just give you a deer in headlights like, I don't know what to tell you. And then you just feeling like, no one understands me. I should have never brought this up in the first place. Does that make sense? So, So Spirit putting on your heart to express these things, are these in like movie clips or like little videos or something? Because they make
Part of
me
what I'm doing has to do with that.
because they make me feel like there's like you have like a stash of little videos somewhere. Does that make sense? Because I'm like, what? Why are you hoarding these little videos? What is that? It's so
Oh my
weird.
God.
Yeah, but it feels like the goal is to place them somewhere, but you're just like doing videos, but it's therapeutic for you because you're literally telling your story and not caring. Like I'm literally getting this off my chest because no one else wanted to hear it. Have you, these little videos, have you purposely not put them up somewhere?
Yes.
So here's the thing. It's so funny because I'm like, why is she hoarding these videos? And there's a fear that there's a fear of what people will say once it's posted. Like you feel very guided to do these videos and it's therapeutic for you. It's very therapeutic for you. But there's just this, oh, we're buffering. Okay. So there's a feeling of I need
Oh,
to
you
do
went in and
these
out
videos.
again.
Are you good? Okay, so there's a feeling like I need to do these videos, but then when it comes time to upload them or place them where they need to be placed so people can see them, there's a fear of it's not perfect yet. Like I want it to be perfect, or I'm afraid of what people are going to say once they see it. They literally make me feel like you should just do it. Like they don't need to be perfect because that's not what it's for. You don't need to worry about what anyone else is going to say because it's not for anybody else. It's literally therapy. It's they literally put on your heart for you to get it out because you feel like you have no one to talk to and you have all this stuff that you need to get out. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it, but putting it out in the world is like putting it out in the universe and leaving it there. Like I got it off my chest. You do whatever you want with it. But then there's this self-sabotage where you're like, but it's not perfect yet. Or I don't have enough books in this chapter yet. And so I'm just going to wait and post them later. And they're like, you don't want her to do that. Because by not posting them, you're still keeping them to yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to help other people because whether you realize it or not, there are a ton of people who feel and they search to find someone who understands them. And a lot of what you've gone through, especially your feeling of displacement, because that's a big thing in your world, codependency and abandonment. There's so many people that have that and nobody understands. And so it's for you to help other people, but it's mainly to help you because you need somewhere to put it that you feel safe leaving it there. Like, I don't care what anybody has to say or how anybody feels about it. But the awesome thing about it is that you're going to come back and realize that it's helping people. It's helping people by putting it out there. And by that, it's helping you because you're like, listen, I'm literally letting other people know that they're not alone. Does that make sense? So you are on the right path. But this video hoarding, like, just post them.
This
Or
video
whatever you
hoarding.
do. That's what it looks like. They showed me, like, they're just, like, stacking up. Like, you do videos and you're just, like, stacking them up. I'm like, what is she collecting these for? What is she doing with this?
That says a lot. You answered a lot of questions that I didn't have written down.
Did you have another question? I know you do.
I
They show me like your brain sometimes like a flip book. Like, you know, like when you do like a flip book and like the different pictures flip, like your mind is like going right now, which is perfectly okay.
What else? What spiritual disciplines am I not connected with currently?
Self-discipline. You're not self-disciplined at all, they say. They say
Heard.
self-sabotage, that you talk yourself out of a lot of things. Do you, a lot.
Mm.
Did you used to
Mm.
want to sing or something about music?
Did I never did I what?
Sing or something to do with music?
I used to.
Aha. Yeah. They're like self-sabotage. Like she talks herself out of stuff that she's amazing at. And it's
Wow. I
literally
talk
from
myself out.
fear of what other people are going to say. Am I not going to be good enough? Am I going to just be okay? When it comes to music, they make me feel like you're absolutely amazing. Um, they also make me feel like you had people around you that would kind of downplay your talent. Like they make me feel like you're super dope, but there are people that downplayed your talent, but that was jealousy. That really had nothing to do with you. Because if the music thing was singing, like they were trash. Does that make sense to you? Like they were straight trash and you were like bomb. So they would like downplay your stuff. And after a while of hearing it so much, like you started to believe like maybe I am not that good or maybe I should stop singing. But that's literally them. Whoever this girl is in particular, she was trash. Like whether if it was singing or playing an instrument, she was garbage and super jealous of the fact that when you would sing or whatever you would do, you would literally get lost in it. Like literally eyes closed would get lost in it. It was like a form of expression that you could just release and you wouldn't have to think. And the more you didn't think, the better it sounded. And she was super jealous of that. And so she just threw it out to you and you absorbed it because you wanted the people in your circle to be proud of you. Don't we all like want people to be proud of us, especially in our circle? So hearing someone in your circle say, it was all right. I don't think you're all that great. I don't think you're all that great. You literally started to take it like, well, maybe I think I'm great, but maybe I'm not great. That's something you still carry with you, that self-sabotage. You have no idea we're so okay. They make me feel like you have no idea, like you've only scratched the surface of your talents and your awesomeness, but you literally self-sabotage because there are so many things that you feel you're awesome at, but you're afraid that someone else may not think you're that awesome. So it's like, I'm just not going to do that. Or you just do it just to yourself. You got to work on that. You have to work on that because talents and things that we're born with, we're literally born with those so that we can share them with the world, so that we can help, because we're all placed in this world to help. No matter how big or how small, we're all placed in this world to do something. So by you keeping it inside, it literally makes you feel like you're useless. There's a feeling of like, I'm no good to anybody because you're not using those talents. That's not the case at all. But it literally starts to feel like I'm no good to anybody. I can't help anybody do anything. And that's not true whatsoever. Does that make sense to you? Perfect. So they're telling me self-discipline, you're not self-disciplined, and self-sabotage, that right now those are the two big things that are hindering you, because I totally feel that you are empathic, meaning that you pick up other people's feelings. So if you ever walk in the room, you're feeling great, and you walk in the room and all of a sudden you feel not so great, or you can feel the tension in the room, or somebody is telling you something sad that's going on in their life and you instantly start to feel sad, it's because you're empathic. And something with animals, like you're super loving when it comes to animals. You and animals are like foods. Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have this
Like the animal.
little brown puppy?
Little brown puppies.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because they show me you like not just loving on this dog the way a person would love, like you loved on this dog. Like you could almost feel like he's scared, he's sad, love on him. And the dog loves you just as much. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Understand, everybody does not have that. Everybody does not have that. That is your superpower. That is, the fact that you can pick up energy from animals that way, not everybody has that. There are people that can kick a dog and not think anything else about it. The fact that you literally you don't just love on animals, you can literally feel what they feel, which makes you only want to love on them more because you guys have that connection of you always feeling like you didn't belong and always feeling like no one understood you. And here's this dog that nobody understands and can't communicate. And it's like, oh, I love you so much. I know, and you're scared, aren't you? You're scared. And you're just like loving on this dog. But you've always been that way when it came to animals. Does that make sense to you? That's a superpower, homie. Like, not everybody has that. Like, you're dope. You're super awesome. You just have to own it. The more you own it, the more stuff will come out. Because there are certain gifts and talents that we have that piggyback off of other things. So as we let loose one, the others start to flow out. It's all a process. You'll never feel like you're not healing or not working on something because that's just how life is. But it'll really get to a place where you're like, I'm scared, I'm totally triggered, but I'm badass and I'm about to kill this because I know that's what I was here to do. And it's funny because it feels like you want to be that person. You know that person's in there, but there's just this fear of like, what if I'm judged for that? I totally see you getting to a place of not caring what other people think. I hope that I'm still in your life.
I can't wait.
Listen, anybody will tell you, whether it is me training someone or whatever the case is, I am the #1 cheerleader, okay? Girl, I got you. Let me find out that you are loving yourself and owning your gifts and doing the daggone thing, okay? Okay? Like, #1 cheerleader, I got your back. Like, that is super, super dope, but you got to own it. You have to own it. No matter what you do, there's always going to be people that have something to say or people that don't necessarily agree. But you are going to get to a place where you're like, yo, I'm dope. If you have a problem with that or you don't understand it or don't accept it, that's your problem. Because it is. It really is. People will project their insecurities and their fears onto you because it's easier than accepting that they have those insecurities and fears within themselves or being honest with what they truly have going on inside. They will project that to you, and if we don't know any better, we take it personal. And it's been happening to you since you were little. So you didn't know not to take it personal. Like, I have a 4-year-old son. If I tell him I don't like his shirt, he's taking it personal. You know, he's taking it completely to heart. What you mean, Mommy? You don't like my shirt? I love my shirt. What you mean? You know? So when you had that going on in your life for so long, you become an adult who doesn't know how not to take things personal. You literally believe when someone tells you you're not good enough. And then when someone tells you that you're good enough, you're hesitant to believe that. Like, I'm not really sure if you're being honest. What do you want from me? You're telling me that I'm awesome. What do you want?
Yeah.
You have to get to a place where you understand people will project things onto you. Even if you think about like at the beach, right? It's normally the women who are not in bikinis and don't feel so confident that are judging the women in bikinis. Like, if there's a lady in a bikini with her whole stomach out and had 3 C-sections with cellulite, if she feels good with her cellulite stomach out, let her feel good with her cellulite stomach out. But it's always the ladies in the back, covered up to their chin. Look what she got on. Look what she shouldn't be out in that. That's because they wouldn't wear that. That's because for them, they'd be self-conscious. That's not her problem, though. Your insecurities aren't that problem. So when you've had your whole life where people are throwing their insecurities at you and nobody's told you, sweetheart, that's not your problem, that's them. You start to believe what people are telling you. So it's literally, you need to do the work in reversing that. Understanding, because now that we're older and we understand that sometimes, all the time, hurt people. Now we seem to understand your anger, your bitterness, what you're directing at me has nothing to do with me. So what I'm going to do is let you keep that. That's where forgiveness comes into play, because you're literally saying, I understand that you're only doing what someone taught you to do in this situation. You're loving me to the capacity that you've been shown to love. And if I allow that to disrupt my world, I turn into you, and then I hurt the next person. So I'm going to let you keep that. I understand why you're like that. That's what forgiveness is. I'm not condoning it and I don't accept it, but I understand why you're like that. And I'm going to let you have it. And I'm going to keep my peace in my world so that I don't damage somebody else. And it's literally letting them keep their toxicity and their damage and all their issues. That's why they say forgiveness is for you. It has nothing to do with the other person.
I needed that.
Oh, you're still there? It looks like you're buffering, but if you can still hear me,
That I had.
does that make sense though?
Yeah, you froze for a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. But everything I said prior to makes sense?
Keeps cutting out, SJ. I'm sorry.
Was that a yes? Because you're, yeah, you froze out on me. So did that make sense to you? Oh, again. Yeah, you like froze up on me again.
Can you hear me now?
I'm just thinking that it makes sense.
There we go. We're good now.
Okay. Did you have another question?
No, that was all of them.
That was all of them? Was there anything that you wanted to elaborate on or that you wanted more info on?
More mental health wise.
Okay.
And how to use it.
How to use what?
How to things.
Okay.
I want to know how I can use the variables of my mental health for my purpose or for other people.
So you want to know how you can do what for your mental health? I'm sorry, it kept cutting out.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
How I can use it, like, as leverage for my purpose, if I'm making any sense.
Okay, I heard how I can use it as leverage for my purpose. Use what for leverage?
My mental health, the different things that are involved there. There's
mental health as far as what?
Well, anxiety, depression, PTSD.
Okay, so here's the thing. Remember how I used that word empath earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
So the thing is that being an empath, you absorb other people's emotions and their energy, which sometimes can translate into depression because you're picking up a bunch of people's stuff. Like if you ever notice when you go into places like Walmart or to a crowded store, you'll feel sick to your stomach or you'll feel a high-low range of emotions. Does that make sense to you? Because if this lady over here at Walmart is going through a divorce and this lady over here just had like the best sex ever in her life and she's floating on cloud nine, and this lady over here really doesn't want to go home because she's sick of her man. Like you're picking up all of that at one time. Can you imagine one little person absorbing all of that at once and then doing that day after day after day? You become depressed. You become withdrawn. You become somebody who doesn't want to be in her head because you feel like your head is just so full of stuff. So you need to learn how to protect your energy and how to ground. How to ground is going outside barefoot and literally picturing your energy being grounded into the ground. 2, hang out with better people. That's imperative. Better people. It's okay to turn off the TV because even myself, I can't watch the news. Certain things, like I will go to the news if I have to, but I can't. Like you remember our parents used to like literally sit in front of the TV and watch the news
every day.
Yeah, no ma'am, can't do it. And that's a very common thing. It's even common to have to deplug from social media sometimes because, listen, there is no bigger place where you have a bunch of people who like to be victims and be in this negative space on social media. So you're going through your news feed, and sometimes these memes are super negative. Like I've seen memes that I'm like, that's not okay. Like, why is this even a meme? Like, this is toxic as hell, you know? So you have to declutter your feed. pay more attention to the people that you're around, what you're watching, what you're listening to, ground your energy. They have certain stones, like I have, this one is rose quartz and this one is kyanite. They have another one called black tourmaline, which is this black one that I have. I wear it during every reading because I'm literally with people's energy all day. Can you imagine the mood swings I had when I first started, not realizing that I was still carrying over people's stuff? Now I'm much better because now I understand. So staging yourself, Dead Sea Salt baths, protection stones, you will notice you think better, you sleep better. You literally, the fog that you feel around you, literally, it like starts to evaporate. The heaviness on your chest starts to lessen. So these are all
Sounds
things.
like freedom, peace.
Yes, yes. You'll start to notice that because you're literally blocking other people's energy and then grounding people's energy, washing people's energy off of your aura so that you're not carrying it around. Because what I'm picking up is the mental health issues, the depression and anxiety. The anxiety that you feel is literally your body's reacting to picking up someone else's energy. So the first thing that I would do, because I feel like you get anxiety like in the car sometimes, it's a confined space with other people. Anytime that you're in an elevator, that's a confined space with multiple people. Or sometimes you'll be with certain people or leave from certain people and then just feel random anxiety. It's literally your body's way of, it's like, you know, like when you get an alert from like Facebook or like Instagram, the little thing that goes off, and you can tell by the sound, like, oh, that's Instagram or that's Facebook. What I'm being shown is that the type of anxiety you're picking up is literally your body's way of saying, we just picked up someone else's energy. We just picked up someone else's stuff. Exactly. So now you know when you start to feel random anxiety for no reason, that should be a number one sign. I'm minding my business. I'm in a decent mood. I'm picking up anxiety. This can't be me because I'm not in an anxiety-filled situation. I'm not in a thinking about anything that would cause anxiety. If I'm having random anxiety, it has to be somebody's. So we're going to ground it and get rid of it because it's none of my business. Really and truly, it's none of your business. But you can't help it. That's just the way that you picked up. Understand that being an empath, we are so dope. We are so awesome. Okay? We are so awesome because we feel, therefore we understand. There's no better way than understanding. I've never broken a bone in my body before, ever. Thank God. I wish there was wood here so that I can knock on wood. And I was a really rough child, like gymnastics, flipping off of stuff, always into stuff. But I have watched certain movies where someone has gotten a bone broken because some empaths, they can't watch certain movies because if I'm not wearing my stones and I watch a movie where somebody breaks their arm, I will feel instant pain in my arm. So I've never broken my arm. But when someone talks to me about having an arm broken, I have compassion for that. Because even though I haven't had it broken before, being an empath, I can just imagine the burning feeling that I felt when I was watching the Avengers up close and personal in that movie theater, and Spider-Man got his arm hit, girl, like, I was like, let me go to the car to go get my black tourmaline so I can get back into this movie. But I can sympathize when somebody says, oh, I broke my arm. I have compassion for you. When someone says that they've had a heartbreak from a love or a family member that they deeply cared for passes away, there is a sense of, I can understand and I have compassion for you because the way that my gift is set up, I feel your heartbreak. I literally feel how distraught, how broken you feel. And it makes you want to help that person. The only thing is that as empaths, our number one defense is boundaries, because you have to have boundaries. You can't save the world. That's not your goal. Your goal is not to save the world. We literally heal by our emotions, because when you can put yourself in someone else's position and have empathy for them, a lot changes in how you treat people. You can literally heal somebody just by listening, because you know what it feels like to to reach out and want someone to talk to and not have anyone there. Do you see what I mean? So feeling so deeply and connecting so deeply is literally our superpower. We are like the dopest group in the planet. I'm just saying. Just saying. And as long as we know our boundaries, know how to ground that energy, know how to put things in place to increase our peace, this is something that it's a benefit. It's something that you can use for good. It's something that you use to help other people. It's only a burden when you don't know how to take care of it, when you're allowing it to weigh you down. You're getting depression, you're getting anxiety. You always feel like your mind is cluttered. And certain people, I have a friend will spirit. I am empathic and clairvoyant and clairsenses. Clairsenses meaning that I just will know things, but I have no memory of how I know these things. But she's clairaudient. So spirit literally talks to her the way I'm talking to you. There was a time period where she was diagnosed with schizophrenia because they said you have multiple personalities that are talking to you. Could you just imagine trying to explain to other people, these are the things I'm hearing. They're not negative, they're not mean, but I literally hear someone in my ears all the time and there's no one there. And they're like, you're crazy. So we're just going to give you these meds. And they gave her schizophrenia meds and it didn't do anything. I still hear these voices. And as she got older, she understood, this is my superpower. Like I'm clairaudient. This is literally spirit talking to me. I'm not crazy. So once we learn how to use our gifts to help other people and we learn boundaries, because we cannot save the world. That's not even what the universe is asking us to do, is to save the world. There's tons of us, not just one of us. So we work as a group. And we work with who we can and we help who we can, but that doesn't mean that we neglect ourselves. It doesn't mean that we just ignore that sometimes we need space. Sometimes I need for someone to love on me. I need someone to be compassionate towards me. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have balance. Mm-hmm. And when you have balance, you're undefeatable once you have balance. Once you know how to use that superpower for good, you know how to use that, for your advantage and the advantage of other people. That's what makes you indestructible. That's what makes you awesome. When you can own that and not just own it, but wear it proud, that's the road that you're going down. That is part of your purpose. And as you do that, you're going to cross paths with other people who are like, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why. And you're like, listen, I used to be you. I can help you. I know what to do. And that's how you know when you're growing, when you can literally start to see it in other people. Because sometimes when we're not at that space, we don't see it in other people. We literally see victim or we're triggered by it. So when you get to a place where you're not triggered, you're like, dude, I can help you. Like you were sent to me for a reason. Girl, I'm about to help you. I used to be you. So I totally understand. That's where this divine alignment comes from. You know what I mean? Like that's when you know, like the universe is literally placing people in my path because I'm ready. I'm literally helping people. I'm literally doing what the universe wants me to do. And as you help people and do things, it comes right back around to you full circle. You see what I mean? So that's like another confirmation that you're headed in the right direction. Make sense?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love when things make sense.
All of this made sense.
Good.
All of it.
Good. I'm just the messenger, but I enjoy being the postwoman.
I've had 2 readings ever in my life. I was small, probably like 10 the first time, and then the last time was like maybe almost a year ago now. But can you hear me? It cut out again.
I can still hear you though.
Resonated with everything that you said because and mind you, this is the first time we're talking because this is the first time we're talking.
Yeah.
Because there are signs in this area of life, and I would like if more people pay attention to that, because it's not something destructive and it's not something negative. There's so much truth there, and and thank you for being.
Wow, that makes me happy. I'm glad it resonated. Was it what you expected?
We conversations before this happened. I was so scared. Oh, I don't want to go on. My chest hurt. But
I told you I was going to
I
create a
feel
safer space and that you had nothing to worry about. You would be safe. You would be protected.
I was good. I feel more peace, to be honest with you.
Good. Good.
Yeah, and more confident, because the things that you mentioned, I've had a lot of questions about for a very long time, and you brought that up also.
Good. Good. That makes me really happy. So after the session, I would love it if you would upload whatever the stash of videos is, because listen, number one cheerleader, I got you. I am going to watch them. I am very curious because they really made me feel like you just have like the stash that you're just like collecting, and they're like, she needs to post it. They need to be out. And so I'm super stoked. And if you feel guided to get back into music, I'm super stoked about that, because Spirit really made me feel like you are super good. So, and not just that, the freeing feeling that you have when you're in that space, everybody deserves that. Everybody. So I'm just saying, like, if it was me, I would like to see you step more into that and own it. And I got you 10%. If it's on YouTube or if it's on wherever it's at, I'm liking, I'm subscribing, I'm going all in. I'm team you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I appreciate
You know that MU got your back. Like, MU people were here right at 7 o'clock on the dot. So I'm not coming alone. I'm coming with the whole squad. Okay? You are supported and you are loved and you are enough. And I cannot wait to see how it works out for you. I'm super stoked. Super stoked. I'm glad that this brought you peace. I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. When I told you that I was guided to you, no joke. Like, I literally knew you were handpicked for this. So I was super. There was a point where I felt like you were going to back out. And I was like, I really hope she doesn't, because she was divinely picked for this. Whatever Spirit has to say to her, I know that it is for her. Hands down.
I needed that. I really did. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just the messenger. So, but like I said, I enjoy being the post lady, but I'm super glad that you got what you needed from the session. Did you have any last questions before we close out the session?
No, you answered questions I didn't even write down. So
I got to be on it, don't they? Hey. I'm so glad. Yeah, because even before you were asking questions, they were like, she has questions about this and she has questions about that. I'm like, well, are you going to let her answer them or ask them? I mean, but there was also a feeling that there were certain questions you were afraid to ask. But they were kind of like, she has questions about this and questions about that. So they made sure that you were squared away.
Yes, they did. That was
okay. So I'm
back around
in case anybody has them. But I'm so glad that you did this session with me. You're amazing. I would like you to stay on this house for me in case they have questions for you, because I'm opening it up for anybody who has questions, about the session, and I don't know if they have questions that pertain to you. So normally at this point, I would send you a picture of your cards, which I'm going to send you pictures of. You only had 3, which is weird because normally people have a lot of cards, but you only had 3 because Spirit was doing all the talking and channeling. So normally I would just send you a picture of your cards through IG, and then we would just go on our way. So did anybody have any questions about the sessions? Questions for me? Questions for Sierra? Sierra, that's how you pronounce your name, right?
Kyra.
Girl, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Every time I saw it, I was like, that's a different way to spell Sierra, but all right. Yeah, that's so my fault. It wasn't even, that's so my fault. Someone
That's
asked, how
okay.
can you tell the difference? How can you tell the oh, where did it go? Um,
Oh, the difference between your emotions and what you pick up from spirit.
that's a good question. Me personally, it took some time because I'm a deeply rooted emotional being. When I am angry, oh, I'm angry. And when I have attitude, oh, we have attitude. And so I started to notice that I'm a very petty person when I deal with myself and my emotions. Spirit is not. So certain emotions that I would feel, like if I was angry with someone, where I was like super annoyed with someone today, and was in my feelings and all that, and spirit came in, and when I channel spirit, it's very peaceful, it's very loving, but firm. They are very direct. And when I sometimes speak with myself, I curse to myself. And when you talk to yourself and you're like, yo, you get on my nerves. I'm done. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm over it. But when spirit comes through, the emotion and the feeling is completely peaceful and different. So there is a difference between the two.
Wow.
Did anybody else have a question? I feel like I missed them because they're in the middle of the session. But I wonder if anybody else had any other questions about a session or about
So about boundaries. How do
yes.
you know what your boundaries are?
You know what your boundaries are? Your boundaries are put in place to protect you and your peace. So boundaries are not doing anything or agreeing to anything that you'll regret later, or that you'll be upset that you agreed to or did. So a boundary could be as simple as saying, no, I'm not going to come over and do your hair because I'm tired. That's a boundary. You're literally saying, like, I'm burnt out and I'm not about to put myself out beyond what I'm willing to do just to keep you happy. Boundaries are, I have a friend, she's in this group right now. Her name is Mo. Mo is amazing because no matter what is going on in Mo's world, when she messages me, the first thing she'll say is, I have an issue that I want to talk to you about, but are you in the emotional and mental space to deal with that? She always asks me that. Always. Always. Before she unloads on me. And I appreciate that about her so much, because there have been times where I've had to tell people, I'm going through a lot in my life right now, and I can't be there for you the way you need me to be. That sucks, but it's honest. And I can't pour from an empty cup. So if I'm completely burnt out and I have so many other things going on in my world, I can't stop what I'm doing and be 110% there for you in this moment. And I had to get to a place in my life where I was okay with saying that, because I have people who only hit me up when they need help or when they need something from me. So I had to learn to be okay with saying, this is my boundary, not today. I'm out with my kids and we're at the park, so I'm not going to stop what I'm doing and take this phone call of you complaining about your boyfriend. That's a boundary. That makes sense? Ashley, you're amazing. We do need more ladies like Mo. Listen, Mo, she's amazing. Everything about her is amazing. I love her. Me and Mo have been down since 2011, and she's been that way for as long as I can remember. I love Mo.
Thanks, Mo.
Oh, there goes a long one. How do I know for sure what are you speaking on made things so much more sense? I was thinking that I was just overly emotional and going crazy. No, you're not overly emotional and going crazy. And it's funny because when I'm dealing with someone, I am very quick to let them know. Like, if I have to express my feelings or emotions, I'm very quick to let them know I'm not crazy. I'm not being overly emotional. These are the things that I've noticed. These are the things that I've picked up, and this is how it's making me feel. I'm communicating that to you. So letting someone know up front, don't dismiss my feelings. If you don't understand, that's